Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the CGOD YouTube channel. It's your boy CGOD, and today we're going to be doing a bunch of stuff to the Beamer. That includes, but not limited to, removing the diff to weld it. We're going to be replacing the rear camber arms with adjustable ones. Possibly going to be cutting the spring in the rear also to get more lows. And in doing that, I also want to fit the 1-inch spacer in the rear. So we're going to be doing a little bit of fender shaving and camber adjustments, alignments, shit like that. So without further ado, this is what we're going to do. Here we got the whip skis. So you know it's real whippy and whatnot. But here we got those rear camber arms. They're all right, you know, they're nothing special. About 50 bucks on eBay will get you these bad girls. Pretty easy to use, pretty easy to install. This is all the shit we're gonna use to weld the diff. So we got 2 cans at $5 for both of them from O'Reilly's of brake cleaner. We're gonna be using some 80W90 gear oil. Uses about 1.8 quarts or whatever. So damn near all of that stuff. We're gonna be using some RVT also. And yeah, so we're gonna remove the diff skis and get ready to weld it all up and shit. And gonna be fitting old girl a lot better, because as you can see, it looks kind of silly. It's all weak and shit. But yeah, one day we'll be looking like the front skis does. But damn, look, I got disrespectful ass birds, yo. Look at that shit. Like, why they gotta do me like that? Come on. What did I do? What did I do? Motherfuckers. But yeah, so that's what we're going to be doing, guys. Also, I did in fact find some new little like center cap gel thingies on eBay. They just say Weld Racing on them. Should look pretty legit to replace these with nice ones. But yeah, because this side's like fully missing it. So yeah, it's all bad. But I'm going to go ahead and jack the back of old girl up. In doing that, put it on some stands, probably take the wheels off. I'm gonna go ahead and start ripping into it. I'll bring you guys back and show you what it all looks like, what I'm about to do to it and stuff. So stay tuned. Alright guys, so we got the car up in the air. I'm gonna go ahead and bring you guys down underneath of this hoe. So here we got our diff skis, right? And what we're going to be doing today is we got like an 8-10mm bolt that's holding it here and another one on the other side. We already loosened up the sway bar, so that is now free to move up, and that'll give us the clearance to be able to get to that bolt. So like as you can see, the bolt is like right behind the sway bar, so that just picks up so that we can get to it. We got another mount right here on the front of the diff, so that one is also an 18mm. We got the 4 bolts holding the drive shaft to the front end of the diff, I guess. So that, we got a little wrench for old girl. Oh yeah, nice snug fit. And these here, to be able to remove the axle shafts, are an E12. And I do recommend, like if they got a bunch of grime on them, kind of like how this one here does, I do recommend you you beat the socket onto it. That way you get it all the way on and you don't want to strip these out. So we're going to remove both the axles, pull all 3 of the bolts, and remove the drive shaft, and we should be good to pull this old girl out. Now I didn't really see, there's supposed to be like a tag somewhere on the front of it, so maybe once we pull it out we'll be able to see what ratio we got, even though it should be like a 293. But I'm really hoping it's not an LSD. I don't really know how to check other than taking it out and opening her up, so we're gonna go ahead and get to it. Whew. Alright guys, so I got everything pretty much ready to go. Go ahead and show you guys. So I've already pulled out one side of the bolt. So as you can see, it's missing there. I got the axles loose on both sides. Our sway bar is nice and loose. So now I'm going to go ahead and set the jack underneath of it. Oh yeah, and I also pulled out all the nuts from the drive shaft. So I'm going to go ahead and set the jack underneath the diff housing. And I'm going to go ahead and pull that bolt out there and the one in the front mount. And we should be able to drop it out after that, guys. So yeah, let me get to it. Alright guys, here we have it. There we got our diffy, boys. So there it is, all nice and out of the car, I believe. No, there's nothing. There's supposed to be a tag on it somewhere, but in some of the videos I've seen, it has it coming off of like one of these bolts on the cover. And I don't see anything, so maybe right here. That's some kind of tag there, boys, but it don't really tell me anything about the ratio or anything like that. Or yeah, look, it's got a 293 in it. I did come to the conclusion myself that it was an open diff, because whenever you spin this one, look, I'll be spinning it this way, and you'll see this one spins the opposite way. So I heard whenever they're in LSD that it would spin both of them the same direction. But either way, we already got it out of the car, so something's going to happen to it regardless now. So let me go ahead and show you down here. We got the axles in here just chilling. This one's on the exhaust, this one's on the sway bar. But as you can see, this bolt here is for that rear camber arm that we're going to be replacing. And this would not come all the way out unless you had the diff out, or you had to move the diff at least. So yeah, that's good there. And it looks like the subframe looks good. I see no cracking or nothing of the sort, so that's cool. Very awesome. So as you can see, we got the diff here. Had to take the 4 nuts off of it, the 6 E12 bolts off of this, and the 3 18s. And I think it was like a 13mm, I believe, for the sway bar. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get to cracking this old girl open and cleaning it up, drain the fluid, clean it up with the brake clean, and start heating it up. I am gonna make little pieces for the spider gears, so I'm gonna have like a little square here cut out in between the spider gears, and I'll weld all of it. So yeah, let me get to it, guys. Alright guys, so here we got our diff. As you can see, she's open as all hell, so that's good. Pretty much I've already drained the fluid. Honestly, it doesn't smell too terrible, it doesn't look too terrible. The diff looks real nice, to be in good shape, nice and solid feeling. So pretty much, as you can see inside of the diff here, we have several spider gears. Alright, here we have it. So this gear, this gear, this gear, and this gear are going to all be welded together. So as you can see, I am spinning this stub this direction, right? And this stub is turning the opposite direction. So that's how we know that our diff is open as fuck. So yeah, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be washing this out for one. After washing it out, I'm going to use the brake parts cleaner that we have over there to get rid of all the oil. That way we don't have dirty welds, and that way we can do strong welds. That way our welded diff doesn't fucking explode like a sumbitch. So I've actually already done this before on my old BMW that I used to have. And at that time, I did it in my basement of my apartment with a flux core welder. So that diff is still kicking today. So I'm pretty sure now with the better MIG welder and stuff, this diff should be immaculate, guys. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and get to cleaning it out. Like I said, I'm probably going to let all the rest of the oil drain out and then start hitting it with the brake cleaner. And then I'm probably going to rinse it out after that and then blow it off with some compressed air. before, like the final cleaning before welding. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, guys. Alright guys, so we got the diff all the way cleaned out. I went ahead and I cut some pieces to be able to use as like filler plates inside the diff. So they pretty much look like this. So I mean, it's just a little rectangle piece of metal, and they pretty much fit in the diff like so. So I mean, as you can see, it's pretty much just going to tie together our 4 spider gears in there. So we are all cleaned up. From here, all I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of heat up these gears and this filler piece with a torch, and go ahead and like tack it in, and then I'm going to go ahead and turn it around and tack in the other one on the other side, and then we'll get to welding. So yeah, I'll go ahead and set you guys up, that way you guys can get a little view of that. Alright guys, so here we have it. First beads put on it. So I mean, it's a little spattery. I'm going to go ahead and run another bead towards the bottom and then another one over the top on all 4 of them. So we'll have triple beads all the way around, and then turn it around to the other side. And then I'm going to try to clean out as much of the spatter as possible. Blow it out, whatever I can do to get it as clean as possible, and then should be ready to get cooled off, boys. Yeah. Alright guys, so we got this puppy all welded up now. So what I did is I laid kind of like a root pass, and then I laid a cover pass towards the bottom, and then I stacked another cover pass over the top of it, so all 4 corners are 3 beads deep. So let me show you guys the finished product on that. So as you could see, you know, maybe, either way, so yeah, here it is, all beaded up. So I mean, as you can see, I don't think these gears are going anywhere anytime soon. So yeah, I like doing this method a lot more than the conventional, where you just weld the corners of the gears. I feel like that's really, really weak. Like this, I mean, you could see I'm eating into that gear, you know, so the penetration is there, the strength is there. So this should be a solid piece. I have no doubt in my mind that this thing will last the life of the car. All I'm going to do from here, as you can see, it looks really, really dirty. I'm going to try to knock as much of that loose, blow it out with the compressed air, do all of that. And I gotta let it cool anyways, because it's really fucking hot. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and let this chill for a bit, start knocking off some of the spatter or whatever, blow it out. I'm probably gonna wash it out also with the hose, just to help get all the little pieces out. And then you want to make sure that the diff turns freely, guys. So after you got your diff all welded up and whatnot, then you're going to want to set it flat and start turning the pinion, you know, making sure that you don't have any slag or anything stuck in between your ring gear or anything like that, because especially after you put fluid in it, you don't want that just floating around in there, get caught up in your gear, just create a big mess for you, you know. So just make sure you clean it as best as possible. You may want to even change the diff fluid, you know, a couple 100 miles after doing this or whatever. But either way, make sure you clean it real well. And then we're gonna fill it. E36 diff capacity is like 1.8 quarts, so damn near both the bottles. And then we're gonna be using the RTV to make a little gasket for it. Still probably gonna have to clean the little like flange parts of it, but that's not that big of a deal. And then we'll let it set with the RTV for a little bit, and then go ahead and put the cover back on and start getting it back in the car, guys. We're almost there, boys. And this video might actually just be the welded diff and the control arms, because I don't think we might not actually get to the fitting the wheels with the spacer. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Alright guys, let me go ahead and give you guys a glance at the final product. So this is pretty much cleaned out. So I mean, as you can see, I got most of the BBs out. Everything that didn't come out is on there pretty decently. So I mean, as you know, I've been hitting it with a screwdriver, breaking all the stuff loose, blowing it out with air and whatnot. So I mean, as you can see though, she's pretty gosh darn smooth, brother. So I mean, I don't think I got any junk in her trunk, you know, if you know what I'm talking about. So I mean, just go ahead and give you guys kind of like a little roller. So I mean, as you can see, there's our diff, welded to fuck. She's all cleaned up. She's just gonna cool down now, and then I'm gonna go ahead and fill it with oil and hit some RVT on the old mating surface, and then we'll slap her all back together, boys. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and let it cool for now. Probably get something to eat or something. Sun's finally going down. It's nice and chill. Got me and Vert Dookie on the door, you know. I'll be right back. Alright guys, so moving on with the welded diff. So now I have filled the diff with fluid. We've got 1.8 quarts of some 80-90 weight, and we've put RVT on our diff cover. I'm gonna let the RVT chill for maybe like 10-15 minutes maybe, but while it's still kind of wet-ish, I'm gonna go ahead and set it on and kind of just like hand tighten down the bolts. That way we can get our gasket maker to like flatten out and create more of a seal than what it is now. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and set this on and hand tighten the bolts a little bit, just to where it's starting to compress our sealant. And then once we get our sealant starting to compress, then I think it says to wait like an hour, and then go ahead and tighten it down to spec. So I don't know what the spec is, but I'm gonna go ahead and set it on there and hand tighten the bolts, and in about an hour I'll tighten them up the rest of the way. While we're waiting on that, I'm gonna take this time to come down here and change out these weak ass lower control arms, because they look like cheap pieces of poop. And after those get changed out, then we should be good to go to start putting the diff back in. So yeah, we'll get this knocked out for you guys, and then I'll bring you guys back. Peace. Alright, so I got the diff sealed up. I got the bolts torqued down. So here's kind of what that looks like. Hopefully it's a pretty decent job and doesn't leak. I feel like I've given it about an hour. It's kind of tacky now. I think it's seal. Yeah, so I mean, as you can see, it's kind of, but I got the rear arms in, so you can see them Johns. Kind of hard to see because it's a little dark, but they are in there. Other one is in also. I did in fact cut the spring just a hair. Wonder if you'll be able to see that. Not really. Either way, just so you guys know, I cut the spring just a little bit. I cut about half a coil off of it, just because I want to see the rear tuck some more. I may end up cutting it some more after we try to fit the wheels and shit after all this. But yeah, so I've given the diff a pretty reasonable amount of time, I'd say, to seal or whatever with the RTV on it. So I'm now going to, whenever I set it over, or set it down I guess, then the diff oil is going to make contact with the seal. So I mean, hopefully it seals good. But we're all ready to put it back in the car. So I mean, pretty much done, boys. After we get it put in the car, then it's just a shitload of bolts. For the diff itself, there's only 3, but we're putting on 12 bolts for the axles, and then the other 2 nuts and bolts for the sway bar. So I mean, we're pretty much damn near on the home stretch. Gotta take a fucking victory drink, you know. Yeah, that's good stuff there. Goddamn natter days, boys, even though today's Friday. You'll probably be seeing this video tomorrow, which is Saturday. So that's cool beans. Hopefully you enjoy it. I'm gonna go ahead and slap this back in there. I will honestly, because as you can see it's getting dark, I will honestly probably do the ending of this video on Saturday. That way, you know, I could get some fucking skids so I can show you guys how this welded diff works, you know. Alright guys, so continuing on with having this car set up. So I did go ahead and I shaved the rear fenders just a tad, you know, to be able to clear some wheels. I adjusted the camber out because our wheel was actually rubbing against the chassis of the car. So I took a lot of the negative camber out. I'm gonna put the toe plates on it, so hopefully the toe is decent in the back. I mean, it looks decent, but it's hard to tell with the naked eye, you know. Throughout the process of making this video, I've actually acquired something that I think is kind of cool. It might be a cool little addition to the channel. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the 2003 Honda Shadow 750 Spirit that I just purchased. I've only had this bike for like 2 days, so bear with me. So here we have an old girl. It was in a lot worse condition when I first got it, but it is a work in progress, you know. So the plan is to kind of like bob her out, you know. But for now she's decent. It had this front fender on it, and it had like these little brackets for a sissy bar or something. It's just a lot of weird stuff. But yeah guys, so I actually did get the 215/35s in, and I got them on the car now. So looking at the toe, you could see at the back of the wheel we're only pushing about 71 inch, and at the front of the wheel it's like closer to 72. So we're towed out a little bit, which is good because I mean she looks kind of towed out. So yeah, but here's how the rear looks for you guys. I think it's decent. I did have to cut the springs some more. I got the top down on old girl. But yeah guys, so I mean it sits okay. The wheels need polished up and stuff like that, but it's alright. I have driven her and she works for the most part. I'm going to go ahead and align this and try to get the alignment good and square in the front, and then I'll move the plates to the back and see how that looks like. But yeah guys, other than that, probably just get some driving clips for you guys, see what's good with it, you know. Check it out. Alright guys, so we've been driving the Beamer around and shit, you know. The only thing that's really noticeable is low speed turning, you know, because the back wheels are locked. So I'll go ahead and like give you guys a demonstration of that right now. Alright guys, so hopefully that was some kind of demonstration for you. But as you can see, that's the only thing that really happens. As for like taking higher speed turning, you really don't notice it. I would say though, be careful like in rain or snow, shit like that, where you have less traction, because when turning it is gonna want to kick out obviously, but that's what real niggas want. So that's probably gonna be all for this video guys. We got it all knocked out. She's ready to fucking skid now. So I'm gonna go ahead and let Tata close out the video for you guys.
Like, share, subscribe to the video.
Yeah. Alright guys, so you heard the man. Like, comment, subscribe. We out.